So thank you for having me, and wonderful to be part of this festival of festivals around the topic of prototyping brands for a new era. And I'd like to talk to you for the next 20 minutes on the topic of awakening purposeful possibility collectively, providing you today with perspectives into how we can together create a better future. Now, why? Because it's time, in my view, to act, meaning activate conscious transformation. The year 2020 has felt very dark for many of us, but if it's true that the darkest hour occurs just before the dawn, this moment also holds a profound possibility. From my perspective, people are hurting. Simply looking at my home country, Germany, when speaking with leaders or team players, they describe their struggle currently with creating a sense of belonging, a feel of connection. They tell me we're becoming more siloed and isolated from colleagues than ever before. I mean, spontaneous meetings in the office lounge or cafeteria would inspire new ideas, plans, and partnerships, but now our access to those informal moments is restricted and teams are just not connecting organically anymore. They also share their tremendous amount of guilt about the impact COVID-19 has had on their employees and customers, from layoffs and closures to disruptions in service, etc. And if that wasn't enough, the Federal Statistical Office report that I read in August reported 16% of Germany's population at risk of falling below the poverty threshold. And that's up from 15% the year before. So it seems as though the poverty gap is really widening, at least here in Germany. And obviously, the pandemic has had a very clear impact on our physical health, but its effect on people's mental health has also been substantial. At least 1/5 of adults in Germany felt some form of depression in June, and that's nearly twice the normal rate. And as if that wasn't enough, following the Black Lives Matter protests, a German study revealed in June also that discrimination against people based on their ethnic origin has increased in Germany. And I haven't even touched on climate. So will we be sinking into a period of chaos, violence, and civil war, or can we truly collectively awaken purposeful possibility and build back better to create a future that differs from our recent past? And if so, how? I like to refer to myself as a transformer. I myself transformed from being digital into being human. I remember January 9th, 2015, the day I turned and left my 20-year international career in the digital agency space to become human, and with that, advocate for a more human and a more purposeful world of work. Now, what triggered that? In August 2014, a friend nudged me to go and find some quiet time and really relieve myself from exhaustion and stress in my role as MD at an internationally renowned digital agency. She'd recommended I visit a detox farm for 2 weeks. So on arrival, I was together with others who were actually predominantly cancer and tumor patients. And in comparison to my health, I seemed fine, but I had no cancer and no tumor. My reason for being there was simply to combat my overworked self. I'd taken the trip lightly, looking forward to some peace and quiet, yet in retrospect, the time spent really opened my eyes and shifted my life. Before I came to the detox farm, I was constantly busy with surviving, looking for the next best deal so I could ensure to hit those desired numbers and hence make business succeed, knowing very well with success would come that share in stock or bonus. But I was performing, I was functioning, I was very often operating out of fear, running that mill of what I thought business and leadership was all about, hitting numbers and encouraging, if not impressing on others to effectively and efficiently do the same. While there, though, at this detox farm, I found myself questioning my being and also my doing in the world, asking, what on earth am I here for? Am I truly contributing to something greater than myself, something meaningful? I'm sure most of you have heard, if not read, The Big Five for Life or The Why Cafe from John Strzelecki. Basically, as John Strzelecki states, sometimes when you least expect it and perhaps most need it, you find yourself in a new place with new people and you learn new things. So back at the farm, I developed health complications and was forced to take 3 days of complete rest. My therapist had suggested to me to sleep in the middle of this sort of main room convening space so that every patient at the farm would acknowledge me. Now, when he suggested that, I was confused, I was aggravated, and I questioned what this bizarre therapy was intending. But in the end, followed the call and really literally laid myself with a mattress in the middle of this space where every single patient would find me or would convene anyway. And, it was a blessing and a big, or if not the biggest lesson I was able to learn about myself. These 3 days had me receive immense love and appreciation from others who in my eyes were worse off than me, battling cancer and tumors, but able to provide me so much compassion and love, being so selfless and flowing with dedication and support. I was really moved by true compassion and all the attention I was getting, which led me actually to be sort of basically in tears across the full 3 days. But it was in these moments where I acknowledged what it meant actually to be human and who we are as humans. We're beings with feelings, we're beings with emotions, we're beings who look for connection and want to feel, to be seen and to be appreciated. We're beings who have more to give and more intelligence than just this intellect and the material goals that we're following. And I learned for myself, my life is not simply to live a life, a career that the system or rather others were constructing for or imposing on me. I began to comprehend my life is to be lived deeper, more meaningful, at least to me, and more integral to my full being and potential. So this personal necessity actually merged into 8 months later. So now back to January 2015, my founding SOULWORX on the promise really to awaken leaders and their companies to being and living who they truly are, to provide that purposeful and positive impact in the world that follows their mind and heart, i.e. not just their intellect. Today, I can proudly say I've guided and accompanied over 36 companies with my purpose quests and many more leaders to delve into leading from purpose, explore, transform, humanize their interactions, and establish really cultures, communities, structures, and systems necessary to succeed in times of uncertainty. I always feel most encouraged when mobilizing conscious leadership and reconnecting people with their work and lives in a more meaningful way, allowing really companies and individuals to be purposeful, to be personal and compassionate about it, and enhance themselves, their people, their organizations, and have them drive towards extraordinary results and a more humane, courageous organizational culture. But, on this path since 2015, that hasn't been easy, but it's been one of truth for me and of satisfaction. But why, hasn't it been easy? Well, up until 2018, I would say purposeful opportunity and organization was negated, only when Larry Fink from BlackRock, brought his New Year's letter out and had this call for purpose. I'd say, in many organizations, it became more visible. And I would claim that today, even despite purpose being all over the media, and we're constantly drawn to the idea of working toward a purpose, you know, if we've even starved for it, I would say, you know, today, as Simon Sinek had said or was right about, most of us have no problem telling others what we do, but we struggle to talk about why we do it. And still, it's really easy to talk about purpose, but are we really able to install that purposeful opportunity in our companies? I don't think so. And I think the phenomena behind that is, at least in my observation experience, that most of us run on fear and still use fear-based motivation tactics. Most of us as leaders delegate responsibilities. Most of us shame allowing ourselves to feel in the context of work. Yet when we tap into that uniquely human capacity to feel, we tap into a world we know is possible. And that's why Black Lives Matter is so important. It's reminding us of this importance of human lives, particularly the ones that get shut out of our feeling antenna. So coming back to today, 2020, and all the uncertainty that, all the uncertainty that we're experiencing at the moment, particularly with COVID-19, we've actually sort of reached a moment where we need to hit that reset button and truly ask ourselves as individuals, as business leaders, as companies as a whole, as brands, you know, what on earth are we here for? Why do we get out of bed every day and do the work we've chosen? Why does it matter to us, and why do we matter to the world? Today, we're living in this unpredictable, changing world, experiencing unfavorable events. I've certainly already mentioned a few, but what about artificial intelligence, asking us to think about what competencies we really need in future? What about energy management, asking us to see how we can balance work and life and learn whether concepts such as home office, agile working provide the right flexibility and engagement? What about political instability, with all eyes now currently on the US? And then climate responsibility. And now with us in the pandemic, asking us to master health precautions in organizations, technical infrastructures, and, you know, still create this sense of belonging. These are all really important questions. We definitely need to face them and act upon them. And the only way we're going to get there, the only way we're going to navigate through these dynamics is if and when we awaken, and when we awaken to purposeful possibility, to demonstrate stability in our organizations, put that anchor, North Star, a solid foundation, and act on core values that provide an environment where we know what we can expect, where we have emotional safety and can act, think, and feel without fear. Or to demonstrate consistency and be present, reliable, making others want to emulate ourselves, commit to continual growth in the areas of integrity, authenticity, humility, and love, to demonstrate courage, to have the awareness and curiosity to move forward in the face of fear, flexing freedom and exploring, or just to demonstrate compassion, genuinely caring, serving, and lifting all stakeholders, leading people to grow, to perform as brilliantly as they can. But how do we awaken purposeful possibility collectively? Well, put purpose at the heart of your business, not the brand, at the heart of your business, starting with leadership. Leaders need to want to get to know themselves, ask themselves, what on earth am I here for? And then take their finger off that fear button. Fear, you know, in the way that they're leading others, whether that be just cutting people off in conversation, or just seeing a milder version of, you know, simply rolling their eyes, whatever it is, taking that finger off the fear button, if not also looking at their own behavior as to how fear-driven they may be. Or leaders should want to take a purposeful stand in a visible way, make it feel more authentic, and then later actually weave itself into products and services the company is providing. Leaders should sense that they have a purpose problem. Either they recognize the need to clarify their purpose to meet their objectives, or purpose to be a solution to other problems. They need to see that purpose can actually result in true change, and ultimately come with a change the world mindset, change the world intention, and bring that into their teams as well as their companies. So prerequisites to even start awakening purposeful possibility, or what I like to call this ACT process, activate conscious transformation. And if those prerequisites are there, then it starts to go into assessment, where we listen with humility and let reality talk. Why are we on the search for purposeful possibility? Who do we want to evolve to understand our purposeful possibility? It can't just be top-down leadership. And last but not least, learn and listen about what the hopes are with purpose, what the fears are that stand in the way of surfacing purposeful possibility, digging deep, trying to invigorate reactions, not only through mental activity, but also surfacing emotional and intuitive intelligence. And once we've listened and assessed current hopes and fears, we can delve further into articulation of purpose by building architectures of connection and through a dialogue of co-sensing, creating energy, surface creativity, combine minds and hearts and allow for purposeful opportunity to emerge. As if out of nowhere, collective purpose becomes explicit and people experience excitement and joy. It's like a new life has been breathed into the organization, because out of this dialogue comes this intensity and this willingness to really drive meaning, drive purposeful opportunity. However, simply this emergence of possibility isn't enough. We need to be able to mobilize it and sustain this new life in the organization. Hence, coming out of articulation, we delve further into a dialogue of alignment, sensing how purposeful possibility will or can align with company vision, company core values, strategic ambitions and goals of the company, reflecting on what we need to adjust so that the backbone of the company at the core purpose can truly become a healthy and a lively organism. And then once we've wandered through that moment of alignment, we can then really truly activate purposeful possibilities collectively with impact and with confidence, acting from that field of the future. How do we see purpose shape our future? So we're currently awakening purposeful possibility for global companies involving, in one case, 24 different countries. And it's so beautiful to see how energy surfaces, people get excited, and not only to learn and see their colleagues are equally passionate and equally encouraged to act with purpose, but also to really rally around a unifying purpose that gives orientation, provides engagement and motivation, and ultimately will also culminate into an external movement, reaching not only customers, but also society, if not the planet as a whole. So I leave you with one call to action. It's something, somewhere inside you already knows, even if it's just a whisper. You weren't put here to trade time for a paycheck at a place maybe you dread going to every day. Our future calls from us, all of us, even our everyday lives, even if our everyday lives seem to be asking for us to dumb things down or cut them short. Our future relies on each of us having the courage to look deep inside, to find what that is, and to use it as our North Star going forward. Now, this is arguably the scariest, most vulnerable act imaginable. I know. It's also the greatest act of love you can choose to perform. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that awakening purposeful possibility is as simple as learning to meditate and calling it good, nor am I going to tell you that it's a quest for perfection. It's not. It's a lifelong journey that we are always on, whether we choose to see it or not. It's an acknowledgement that challenging moments and days and weeks will happen. And in those moments, it's our choice to choose up now and now and now. And I believe each of us has the capacity to be exactly what the world needs. And together, we can create a better world. It's grown through practice in the moments that matter by asking ourselves just these simple questions. What am I bringing with me in this moment? Am I choosing to be a conscious, a purposeful leader? How am I relating to others around me? Am I present with them? Am I connected with them as a human? And where am I focusing my time and attention? Is it on this thing? Is it on the impact that I was put here to make? If we together focus on these things, I believe we can awaken purposeful possibility our world needs collectively. Thank you for listening.